LOL, Cena loses? Yeah, that's a thing that kinda happened tonight. But, once again, it's Generic Minority with the main event of Survivor Series, which was the traditional Survivor Series 5-man elimination tag match. This match was really interesting and booked all to hell, man. It was out of control. But first off, let me start talking about some things I didn't mention in my last video that happened. First and foremost, obviously, like I said in the last video, Vince McMahon came out and said that if the Authority loses, not only are they out of power, they're not allowed to interfere in anything that happens on Monday Night Raw anymore. And then he gave Cena the power to bring the Authority back if they lose, which once again put the cape on Super Cena, which gave me the mindset for this match. I walked into it not really into it because I was like, well, just give Cena the cape with all the powers you're giving him. LOL, Cena wins, but we'll talk about that in a second. So twice in the night, we saw, Team Authority, or at least once a piece, we saw Team Authority getting themselves hyped up. In that picture right there, you can see of Rusev, hashtag Rusev Sandals. He was ready for the beach. He knew this match was already over before it started. He has the sandals on, he didn't even wrap up his feet. Everyone else has got their ring gear on, but Rusev's got his sandals on. And so they show, Team Authority right there. You see them all getting, hyped up. And then later in the night, they showed Team Cena getting all hyped up. And the person talking the most was Dolph Ziggler. Now I knew something had to go on with Dolph Ziggler because he was doing the most talking. He was the most behind Cena. Had the most beatdown so far. So he seemed to be the focal point. I thought he was going to be the guy to turn his back on Cena, to have Cena pull, the LOL Super Cena wins with Randy Orton coming in, dropping 54 RKOs to help Cena sweep Team Authority, and beat the record for the most eliminations ever. But that did not happen because, first and foremost, let's just get to the match itself. Opening the match, we get Mark Henry, Big Show in the ring together. For whatever reason, Steph and Triple H were standing on the corner like they were gonna get in the match, and they were hyping up Mark Henry. Mark Henry went in to fight the Big Show. Big Show's just standing there. He goes back to talk to Triple H a second time. Triple H puts it in his head. He's like, no, you can't lose. You got this. You got this. Runs in, and LOL, the black guy gets killed first in this horror movie. He eats, and sells death like Dolph Ziggler never could. He eats a right hand from Big Show, WMD. 1, 2, 3, knocked out. First elimination of the match, Mark Henry for Team Authority, which makes sense in hindsight. So, not John Cena, Mark Henry knocked out, boom, immediately. So that's hilarious. Match gets going. We get some offense at Team Authority. It looks like Team Authority might actually get swept. Thankfully, that didn't happen. So, the match starts. There's rumbles, there's brawls outside the ring, in and out. Next elimination is Ryback gets the meat, eats a nasty little curb stomp, gets himself pinned. Boom, Ryback, first elimination for Team Cena. I was surprised at that because Ryback was the big guy, the one everyone was pining for to get on the team. Eric Rowan Eric Rowan, for whatever reason, showed up at the last minute. But, the big deal, they really hyped up Eric Rowan as being like, oh, here comes this guy, Eric Rowan. Michael Cole in the commentary. I hate Michael Cole. But, Ryback was the first elimination. I guess that was the kind of like, like when I don't know if anyone's a fan of Mortal Kombat. When they're like, man, no one takes this game serious. Like, people are gonna die. First person killed, Johnny Cage. Got to kill Johnny Cage. He's that guy. He had to die in order to let everyone know it was serious. So he was the first elimination to let everyone know it's like, oh, this wasn't just gonna be the Ryback, show like how it seemed like it was gonna be for the past few weeks, which makes no sense and kind of sucks. Because what was the point of pushing Ryback so hard? I guess that if he goes and beats down Cena, we won't feel bad about it. We'd be like, well, he's like, he didn't want to be on the team in the first place. But whatever. Jeez, now I'm trying to remember. I'm having a lapse in memory because I didn't keep tabs on who got eliminated in what order. I know the next elimination. Who else was team? Yes, this spot. Rusev going to put Dolph Ziggler through the announce table, going for the big splash, winds up crashing and burning through the announce table, just laid out dead, gets the count out, eliminated hard. That's followed by, I believe it is the Big Show, or maybe the Big Show came first. Either way, the Big Show gets eliminated, and it's... Oh, no. Big Show did not get eliminated. Sorry. Eric Rowan got eliminated. Eric Rowan got eliminated after like a mean clothesline off a distraction by Luke Harper. Rusev eliminated himself, which I thought was great. Not great that he eliminated himself, but he never got pinned by anyone, so he kind of looked strong. Eric Rowan also gets eliminated. Basically comes down to, or not getting eliminated. Eric Rowan gets eliminated. And then it's Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, and John Cena on Team Cena versus Luke Harper. What's that boy's name? Seth Rollins and Kane on Team Authority. But Dolph Ziggler's been taking beatdowns the whole match. Once again, I was still suspicious of Dolph Ziggler. I'm like, Dolph's gonna do something. He can't just not do anything. Dolph's taking beatdowns. He was like all knocked down and whatnot. Big Show standing in the ring with Cena. And here was the thing that everyone was like, whoa. But in hindsight, you're like, oh, wait, that always happens. And this is why Mark Henry got knocked out first initially, because that was the end result of your Big Show versus Mark Henry feud, because it's probably not going to happen anymore. Cena goes to stand up to get ready to fight 2-on-3 against the Authority while Dolph's knocked out. Eats a right hand from the Big Show. Big Show goes heel, or temp heel, whatever you want to call it. He punches John Cena. Even if they just attribute it to him not liking Cena for all the events of the past, it doesn't matter. But he knocks out John Cena. John Cena gets pinned. LOL, Cena himself lost and isn't the last man standing in this match. Big Show goes and shakes the hand of Triple H. So, I guess we're going to be suffering through another Big Show versus John Cena feud. Let's just hope that Big Show actually beats John Cena this time. He's probably not gonna, but I guess Cena needs something to do for TLC before he faces Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble. I don't care. So it's left now. Big Show walks out, gets himself counted out. It's Dolph Ziggler versus Luke Harper, Seth Rollins, and Kane. And this is where Dolph got his push. I haven't heard the crowd this hot for him since he was going to cash in at Mania, or cash in the day after Mania. They were hot. They wanted Dolph. Dolph is playing the whole I'm getting beat down all stupid like roll to a T. Gets a pin on Kane. Gets a pin on Luke Harper. And it's just down to him and Seth Rollins. At this point, the Authority, Triple H is doing great, by the way, on the outside of the ring. He's the heel of the year for what he did in this whole match. Just in the match of itself, he's out of control. He was just, the expressions. He was selling the match. He was making the match a lot more exciting than it was, and it was already generally exciting. Actually, it was a pretty decent match, and it made the card. So it's down to Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins. They have a good back and forth, nice little one-on-one. Looks like a couple times Dolph's gonna get the pin. He's making his nice little, he hit the Y button to hit his comeback, start doing his comeback moves, and or hit the triangle button to start doing his comeback setup, and he's getting beat down. At one point, looks like he's gonna win. Of course, the Authority steps in, hops in the ring. What's the boy's name? Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury come in and try to stop him. Dolph goes all Super Cena on them, or actually more like Shawn Michaels-esque. He comes in with some super kicks to them to the face, knocks them out of the ring, goes to try to get another pin on Seth Rollins, who he hit him with another zigzag, and 1, 2, Triple H, you get to the 2, about to hit 3, Triple H pulls the ref out of the ring, pulls the ref by the belt, punches him in the head and kicks him in the butt, which I just thought was hilarious, because he was like a curmudgeon old man just trying to get out of the way, I gotta go. Or he looked less like the game, more like the board game. He kicks the first ref out. Another ref comes down, or he kicks the ref out. Joey Mercury and them are coming to beat up Dolph Ziggler. This is when he hits him with the super kicks and goes to pin Seth Rollins again, and ref comes in the ring, and Triple H hops in the ring right before the 3 count to beat up that ref. throws him out of the ring. Starts beating down Dolph Ziggler, hits him with the pedigree. It throws him on top throws Seth Rollins on top of Dolph Ziggler after the pedigree. That ref who was in charge of the Daniel Bryan match, who did the whole like quick count deal, he comes out. That's only briefly because what do we get? Here's some crows. Here's some foolishness noise in the background. You see it on the screen before you get a chance to even enjoy the moment because you're like, who is it? I could have swore it was going to be Randy, but I also was texting my friend. I was like, it could be Sting too. But it was Sting. Sting comes out. No bat. I was hoping he would come out with the bat. But he didn't come out with the bat. He came out all normal, like with his trench coat and his face paint and his almost 60-year-old body. Comes out. They had him and Triple H have like a 5-year standoff where they just face each other, and Triple H gives him kind of like a stupid, like, what are you doing here look. But he eventually hits Triple H with a Scorpion Death Drop, or whatever it's called, the little reverse DDT. Apparently that's enough to put the old game King of Kings down for the count. Knocks him out. I don't know what happened to, like, Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler are knocked out, but, like, apparently that last zigzag that he had hit Seth Rollins with, like, 10 minutes before that was the best zigzag of his entire career, because Seth Rollins didn't move at all. Other than, like, he rolled out of the way, but he didn't move. He never got hit with another move. He just was knocked out. Sting winds up knocking out most of the Authority, or the rest of the Authority, knocking out Steph, knocking down, or not knocking out Steph, that was Dolph who did that, but knocking out the rest of the Authority, knocking out Triple H. Steph's outside the ring all knocked out, all stupid. You can probably see your face on the screen right now, because you know what happens. He throws Dolph Ziggler on top of Seth Rollins' apparently dead body. 1, 2, 3. Authority is out. Sting walks away. Apparently, at least as far as I can see, he's probably going to become the new GM of Monday Night Raw. That's what I suspected. I don't know what they're going to do with SmackDown, even though SmackDown doesn't matter. They should just put Teddy Long back or Vicky Guerrero, just because. I mean, I put Vicky just because she's more interesting. I like Teddy, but I'm sick of tag team matches player. So Sting comes out, gives Dolph the win. Dolph gets huge pops. You know, he's selling it. He's selling the beatdown. He sells the beatdown. He gets one big cheer in for the fact that he won, but then immediately falls over. He's selling death. And of course, the night would not be complete without LOL. Cena still comes out and hogs the spotlight. He comes out hugging Dolph Ziggler, and he's, you know, like he was never knocked out and then curb stomped I think twice. You know, he comes out hugging Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is selling the match way better than John Cena ever will. Freaking hate Cena. And, you know, that's that. I mean, the Authority loses. Steph's saying it's not over, but it's not over just because it'll probably be Triple H versus Sting. I don't know, people. I don't know where this is going. The rest of the show was just so mediocre, but the main event, it was, you know, it really made up for it. The show outside the main event was just like a glorified episode of Monday Night Raw. It was like a special Raw, you know, like the Raw Old School or something like that, or Raw Roulette. That's all it seemed like, you know, one of the glorified Monday Night Raws. But the main event actually mattered. They made it matter. They made it exciting. You know, the crowd really helped. And the WWE the Authority's out. I'm assuming Stinger is in. Maybe Kurt Angle will come back and GM SmackDown. I don't know. Maybe Jeff Jarrett will stop trying to burn bridges and get rid of Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling, whatever it's called, and actually come back to wrestle again. But other than that, overall in the show, I gave the show itself without the main event like a 3 out of 10, but with the main event, I'll give it like a. The main event was really good. It wasn't 10 out of 10 for me. It was like an 8 out of 10, especially for the quality of stuff they've been putting on lately. But by comparison of the show, the card itself, it's like a 9 or 10 out of 10, like a 9.7. I give the show as a whole like a 7 out of 10, just because of the main event. The main event manages to boost the show enough points, because the show itself wasn't bad. It's just it wasn't great. It wasn't good. The main event was good. The rest of the show was just eh. You know, like the matches were all put together fine, but this seemed to be the only one that mattered, had build up, had, you know, something, you know, set up for things more to come. You know, it had all the things you wanted out of what you want out of all the matches. The only other match to set up any things to come that make any sense was Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. So really, I mean, I give the pay-per-view as a whole, as a main event, I think I give it like a 7, more like a 6 point, like a 6.6 really, but I give it like a 6 or a 7, but minus that main event, it's like a 3, maybe a 4, like a 3.7 or something like that, So other than that, that's all I got for you guys. I managed to talk about this main event more than I talked about the actual show itself, so that gives you an idea of why I separated the two videos. Until tomorrow when I do, or technically today because it's like 1 a.m. as of recording this, when I do Monday Night Raw, we'll see what happens. I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.